New charges against Donald Trump, very significant. Paula, what else are you learning?
So we just got a statement from the spokesman for special counsel Jack Smith confirming that a superseding indictment has been returned by a grand jury in southern Florida, adding the new defendant, Carlos, who we've been talking to, and also adding 4 charges to the prior indictment of former President Trump and Walt Nauta. Now, they say that they add at least a new count charging former President Trump with 1 additional count of willful retention of national defense information. And they send us to a specific paragraph in the indictment, which I haven't had a chance to read, that will give us more details about why they did that. They also note that they've added this additional defendant, and they say that this new indictment charges Trump, Carlos de Oliveira, and Walt Nauta with 2 new obstruction counts based on allegations that these 3 men allegedly attempted to delete surveillance video from Mar-a-Lago in the summer of 2022. This is what I was referring to earlier. We know from our reporting that investigators have been asking multiple witnesses whether anyone tried to prevent them from obtaining all of the surveillance footage from the relevant time in this investigation. So it appears that they have now charged the former president, Carlos de Oliveira, and Walt Nauta with 2 additional obstruction counts based on these allegations that they tried to delete the surveillance footage. Now, it says attempted to delete. It is unclear, based on what I'm reading here, if they were successful. Now, finally, the statement reveals that the superseding indictment also charges Carlos with false statements and representations in an interview he did with the FBI.
And there you have it. Donald Trump has now been charged with 3 more counts in a superseding indictment, with these new charges focused on Trump, his already charged co-conspirator Walt Nauta, and a new name, Carlos de Oliveira, a maintenance worker at Mar-a-Lago, allegedly asking for camera footage at Mar-a-Lago to be deleted in order to obstruct the DOJ's investigation into the theft of classified documents. Here are a few important excerpts from the indictment itself. On June 22, 2022, the Department of Justice emailed the attorney for Trump's business organization a draft grand jury subpoena regarding the production of certain security camera footage from the Mar-a-Lago club, including footage from cameras on ground floor where the storage room was located. On June 23, 2022, Trump called de Oliveira and they spoke for approximately 24 minutes. On Friday, June 24th, the Department of Justice emailed the attorney for Trump's business organization the final grand jury subpoena, which required the production of any and all surveillance records, videos, images, photographs, and CCTV from internal cameras at certain locations at Mar-a-Lago. The same day, June 24th, at 1:25 p.m., Trump attorney 1 spoke with Trump by phone regarding the subpoena for security camera footage. At 3:44 p.m., Walt Nauta received a text message from a coworker indicating that Trump wanted to see Nauta. Less than 2 hours later, Nauta, who was scheduled to travel with Trump to Illinois the next day, changed his travel schedule and began to make arrangements to go to Palm Beach, Florida instead. Nauta provided inconsistent explanations to colleagues for his sudden travel to Florida. And I hope you're ready for this part, because you could not find a more ham-handed execution of a crime than this. At 7:14 p.m. on June 24th, he texted one person that he would not be traveling with Trump the next day because he had a family emergency, and used shushing emojis. At 9:48 p.m. that night, he texted a Secret Service agent that he had to check on a family member in Florida, and after he arrived in Florida on June 25th, he texted that same Secret Service agent that he was in Florida working. You see, he used the shushing emoji because he was doing a crime, and the way he was letting the person who he was texting know that he was doing a crime was by literally going, shh. Perfect crime, no notes. The indictment then goes on to detail a text exchange between de Oliveira and an employee in the IT department at Mar-a-Lago, which eventually led to June 27th, 2 days later. At 9:49 a.m., Trump employee 4 and de Oliveira left the area of the IT office together and walked through a basement tunnel. De Oliveira took Trump employee 4 to a small room known as an audio closet near the White and Gold Ballroom. Once inside the audio closet, de Oliveira and Trump employee 4 had the following exchange. De Oliveira told Trump employee 4 that their conversation should remain between the two of them. De Oliveira asked Trump employee 4 how many days the server retained footage. Trump employee 4 responded that he believed it was approximately 45 days. De Oliveira told Trump employee 4 that the boss wanted the server deleted. Trump employee 4 responded that he would not know how to do that and that he did not believe he would have the rights to do that. Trump employee 4 told de Oliveira that de Oliveira would have to reach out to another employee who was a supervisor of security for Trump's business organization. De Oliveira then insisted to Trump employee 4 that the boss wanted that server deleted and asked, "What are we going to do?" And look, I'm not going to say that Jack Smith has Trump dead to rights, but yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. This all came about as De Oliveira was caught on a surveillance camera moving boxes in the days between a grand jury subpoena being issued seeking the return of classified documents and the execution of a search warrant by the FBI. De Oliveira placed a phone call to an IT worker at Mar-a-Lago during this time, which was obviously interesting to the DOJ given that there were gaps in some of the footage a person familiar with the matter said, and prosecutors had scrutinized whether someone deliberately paused recording or whether there were technological issues at play. Fox News had reached out to Donald Trump for his immediate response to these new charges, and he said, quote, "It's election interference at the highest level. They're harassing my company, they're harassing my family, and by far, least importantly of all, they're harassing me." He went on to say that the charges are ridiculous. This is prosecutorial misconduct used at a level never seen before. If I weren't leading Biden by a lot in numerous polls and wasn't going to be the Republican nominee, it wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't be happening. But I am way up as a Republican and way up in the general election, and this is what you get. And finally, he added, hopefully the Republican Party will do something about it. Of course, the irony in Trump's statement is that while he blamed the DOJ for election interference, he is currently awaiting indictment for exactly that. Donald Trump himself interfered in the 2020 election by way of pressuring Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find 11,780 non-existent votes, by pressuring Arizona Governor Doug Ducey not to certify the election results in his state, by coordinating a fake elector scheme in nearly every critical swing state, by summoning state legislators to the White House, by trying to get Mike Pence to unilaterally declare Trump the winner of an election that he lost, and on and on. So if Trump is looking for the election interference, he might want to try a mirror. And in terms of Trump saying hopefully the Republican Party will do something about it, he made the same desperate plea only days ago.
Congress, if you will, please investigate the political witch hunts against me currently being brought by the corrupt DOJ and FBI, who are totally out of control. They don't go after Biden with all of his corruption, the most corrupt president in history, but they keep coming after me from the day I came down the escalator, all failures. This continuing saga is retribution against me for winning and, even more importantly to them, election interference regarding the 2024 presidential election. It will be their updated form of rigging our most important election. Look at the polls. They can't beat me, MAGA, Make America Great Again, at the ballot box. The only way they can win is to cheat, and they cheat better than anybody has ever seen anybody cheat. Stop them now. Save our country. Make America great again.
Yep. Totally something you do if you're on solid legal footing and definitely confident in your lawyer's ability to defend you. Now, as for this case, it's becoming increasingly difficult for him to pretend that he has any defense whatsoever, considering the DOJ now has witnesses, text messages, manipulated footage, and recordings of all the events surrounding his efforts to unlawfully retain classified information and obstruct efforts by the DOJ to investigate it. And something tells me that both Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira are going to think long and hard about whether they're willing to go to federal prison on a home run indictment for the DOJ, or if they'd rather cooperate against the soon-to-be thrice-indicted felon Donald Trump. In the meantime, Trump's legal troubles will continue to get worse as he awaits an indictment in Washington, D.C. for the events related to the 2020 election, as he awaits trial in Manhattan for the hush money payout scandal, as he awaits indictment in Fulton County, Georgia for again pressuring Brad Raffensperger to find those non-existent votes and a whole raft of other racketeering charges, and as he awaits trial in Florida for this very indictment, which now just took a turn for the worse. Donald Trump wanted to be the law and order president. Turns out that no one will encounter more law and order than him. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to this channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.